So the other day, I went to Best Buy and actually got a chance to take a look at a Windows Phone 8 device, or 8.1, excuse me. And if you've seen one Windows Phone 8 device, you've seen them all. Much like if you've seen one iPhone, you've seen them all. Um, Supposedly, Windows Phone 8.1 is the middle ground between the closed environment of iOS and the open Wild West of Google Android. Specifically, what I looked at was it was on a Nokia Lumia handset, and I don't remember which one. They're all the same to me. But what I was looking at was the Ease of Access Center with Narrator. I was actually quite disappointed. Now I must say that I only have used Narrator for a few minutes, which is to say, it was really quick and dirty. However, there are a couple of things that displeased me right off the bat. First of all, you'll probably notice this yellow border around the screen. That is not part of the display on the phone. That is actually the Microsoft Narrator equivalent to the VoiceOver cursor on iOS, or Google's own visual cursor. Bright yellow is not a good idea at all. It's great here in the start screen, and it's great here in the Ease of Access Center, but beyond that, not a good idea at all. It's yellow, like if you're searching Google, for example, yellow on white is not a good example of premium access. Now, a lot of people are thinking, well, if you're blind, you need the speech, you can't see. That also is a very big misconception. A lot of people who are classified as being legally blind do still have usable vision to some degree. It may not be to the degree that reading print is practical. See, there's a difference. You may be able to read print, but it may not be easy for you. It may be far easier for you to read Braille, especially if you have to enlarge the print to a really big number. So for that kind of situation, yellow on white is just a horrible, horrible color combination. The other problem that I had with it was if we take a look here at the Windows 8 start screen, the cursor did not immediately line up with the tile it was on, which threw me off, number one. Number two, just overall, it was very sluggish. Like I would tap something and it would take a second or two to catch up. And as a result, if I double tapped or did another, if I did another tap, but the screen reader registered it as a double tap, I ended up opening applications I didn't mean to open. So there's just a lot of work to be done. The other thing I don't like about Narrator is there is a shortcut to initiate Narrator out of the box. What it is volume up and start. Well, there's a problem. Start, back, and search are all flush with the screen. You get some tactile feedback, but at the same time, I just see that as being just being a problem. Now, you might consider maybe putting lock dots on the screen. I don't know how well that's going to affect the ability for you to actually use these capacitive controls. So I think it would have been better if they had done something like volume up and power, or maybe like hold volume up while pressing power, or volume up and volume down at the same time, or on phones with the camera key, maybe volume up with the camera key. Something that's 100% tactile. I just don't feel like using the start button to initiate Narrator it's just odd. But the biggest problem for me was the low contrast between the cursor, the visual cursor. In other words, the visual cursor, for those of you that don't know, essentially tells a sighted person or somebody with some sight where the speech is located on the screen, what the speech is reading to you. So the cursor's become a very fundamental part. In fact, if I'm correct, I think it started with Macintosh's VoiceOver. Now everybody's doing it. But yellow on white, like I said, not the best color choice. What would be nice is if they had yellow on white or yellow on black for the start screen, but as soon as you get into an area with a lot of white, maybe the cursor could switch to a black or a blue, something that's dynamic. I must stress also that I've only spent a few minutes with it, but my first impressions just are not that good. Compare that to iOS 8 and VoiceOver. You got a nice big black cursor that tells you where everything is. That's number one. Number two, unlike VoiceOver, unlike Narrator, VoiceOver is not sluggish at all. I've been able to tap, swipe, 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 quick, 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 nice and quick through everything. It's just very speedy, very robust. And aside from a few hiccups, I've never had it completely crash. I've had it lose focus, but I've never had it completely crash. Now, granted, Narrator didn't crash either, but at the same time, if it's as sluggish as it was when I looked at it, which, like I said, I would swipe and it would be 1 second. I could literally count to 1, maybe sometimes 1.5, before it could catch up to me. That, in my opinion, is a bad user experience. Then, of course, you've got Google's Android, and Microsoft's Narrator even behind Android. Now, in this instance, I must stress that the best Google Android experience for a screen reader user is using an unlocked device that is pure Android. And at this point, the closest thing that I can think of is the Motorola lineup. Do not, under any circumstances, at least in my experience, utilizing Samsung with Android and TalkBack has just been nothing but problems. So anything with a skin over the top, be careful. But if it's pure Android, it's very, very similar to VoiceOver, nice and snappy. Whereas Microsoft's Narrator, which doesn't even have the problem of all the skins that Android has, is behaving as if it were on a skinned version of Android, which in my opinion is just not good. Now, is there a silver lining? Yes, there is. Windows Phone 10 is right around the corner. It should be out this fall, which is essentially Windows 10 for phone, Windows 10 for the PC. It's all going to be exactly the same. So it's going to be interesting to see how Microsoft improves Narrator. I'd like to see Narrator get up to the level that VoiceOver is already at. But what are your thoughts? Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome, and have a nice day.